Today's demonstration will focus on the hospitality industry, but the features we cover can be easily configured for other industry as well. So if you have any questions about whether NSBP can support your specific processes, feel free to reach out, email us, and our team will be happy to get back to you on this. So NSPB stands for NetSuite Planning and Budgeting. It is an extended platform of NetSuite ERP. So it is designed to enhance the management reporting and budget planning capabilities. For hospitality industry, USALI is the reporting standard for the hospitality industry, and it requires detailed operating data to support the KPIs. And this is what NSPB can provide you as well. So not just getting the data from NetSuite, but you can also provide these operating data to NSPB so that in NSPB, it can take your operating data and put it into the KPI calculation to provide you with the data that you required on your reports. Okay, so this is the landing platform of NSPB. We have created a button in here to guide us into the first dashboard. So we're going to look at the operating summary. So coming into here, on this dashboard, on the left is the summary operating statement table. On the right, we have two dashboard charts in here to support, the visualization. On the left in here, at the top, these top KPIs are required for USALI reporting requirements, and this can be easily be done in NSPB. So the room available, how many rooms do you sold, the occupancy ratio, the average daily rate. So these can all be calculated in NSPB. And then down in the middle is the operating revenue from different departments. Okay. And then the expenses, the profit, and so on. So basically provide you a P&L of your company broken down by department. Okay. On the right, you also have the dashboard in here. It's not just for visualization, but you can actually add on it. So for example, if I want to look into the room revenue details, I can just right click and then analyze it. And then it's going to bring me to this page. And then I can, we have the total room revenue. I want to look into the details, then I can just double click. It's going to drill down to the next level to tell me, what is within this total revenue. I can look into different category to see the breakdown in here. Okay. Of course, at the top, we have different filters. You can select that as well to navigate through the data. So going back to the dashboard in here, I can also use what we call action buttons to navigate between templates and reports. So in here, I want to look into a more detailed room department report. Then I can just click on that button, and then it's going to navigate to this page. So at the column, you have the actual budget, variance, and the variance percentage. We can also build, previous year and previous year comparison as well. We just don't have the data in this system yet, so we don't have that in here, but you can definitely do that. In here, we have categorized, the revenue into different grouping as well. So NSPB support different, creating more than one report grouping, so it can facilitate your reporting requirement. So coming into here, it broke down into different categories of the revenue, and then it also provide the room expenses and also the P&L for you. If I want to look at, for example, if I want to drill down even further into the revenue, I can just right click again and drill down. And then coming to this page in here, it also provide the KPIs at the top, broken down the rooms into the lowest detail level. And then at the first way, in the first section in here is represent, how many rooms do you sold based on different room types. And then you can go into the revenue based on the room. You can, what is the revenue for different room types in here. And then what is the rates that we have provided. Okay. So you can also key in comments in here. So for example, if I just put a test in here, you can also extract that out in Excel. NSPB is not just a web, like a platform on the web, but it also has a tight integrations with the Excel. So what I can do is I can let me go to Excel. So from out of the box, there's a Smart Wheel plugin that you can install on your PC to the Excel. And then from there on, you just need to log in with your name and password, and then you can connect to SmartWheel. Okay. So there are a few things that, that you can achieve from this Excel plugin. First, I can look into that report that I was looking at. So for example, if I look back into the reports, let me double click. I can open the accessing report directly in Excel, right? So imagine that you're doing budgeting, then you can just input, the data directly on the Excel and submit to the system. Okay. So if I go back in here and then let's look at how we can, prepare the budget. Okay. After we finish the, reporting in here. So if I come into here, let me navigate to the budget sample form. Okay, so let me go into the budget room. So in here we have the actual, and then we have the budget. So we don't need to start from scratch, but we can also leverage, NSPB functionality to help us to kickstart our budget. So what we can do is first is the most common one is to copy the actual. It is going to copy from from the last year. Some customer they copy to 2 years before because the budget period is usually starting in Q4, and you don't have a full year of data to copy. But this one this is in this demonstration is that I'm just copying what we have right now, and then we can work on the remaining period in here. So as you see, like we can copy the actual in here and start my preparations for this, for this room department. I can choose, different subsidiaries, different hotels accordingly at the top from with the filter. You can also use that, build this form. I mean, like to key in the budget directly in Excel because it's easier. Coming into here, for example, I'm going to just put it in here. Just going to put everything in here before the adjustment to kickstart. Okay, and then I can just submit the data, and then it's going to, it's going to reflect it in on our web console as well after I do a refresh. Okay, so they're pointing to the same database. So going back into the Excel, what I can also do is let's go to the room to expenses where we can have more functions. When you plan for the expenses, companies they have different requirements and they want different, different logic as the driver. So in here, in this example, in here, I have built, multiple drivers in here to facilitate the planning. So if I go into, let me go back into the web console, maybe easy to see. Coming into here. Okay, so what I mean by driver is that, like for example, if I can choose the number, the percentage from the revenue from the top line, I can also use work dates average because sometimes your expenses is dependent. It should be driven by the number of work days, right, instead of a straight line. Okay, so we can use the work days average in here. Of course, we need to keep to provide the working days for that hotel. Okay, just in case if there's any shutdowns or special event. So in this case, I can change this from using a percentage from the revenue into work days average. Okay, and then I can just input a amount that I want to allocate. So let's say 24,000 in here, and I can just save. Okay, and then it's going to allocate, based on the number of work days accordingly to each month. And then in here, I can use, the number of the percentage from the revenue. I can also use just this really strict line method. Like just strict line, just allocate to the different periods. And then I can also use, the last year average, last year plus adjustment and so on and so on. So it's quite flexible, to have these tools to help you. One of my customer, they also want to use a percentage for expense type. So they have different groupings for different expense, and then they just want to use the same method for multiple for multiple expenses. So it can be done as well. So NSPB is highly customizable. It provides the flexibility as well. The other thing is in this demonstration, I can show you is the management reporting capability. So other than opening the Smart View report, you can also use some of the pre-built professional looking report in NSPB as well. So coming into here, I'm going to print. I have a report book ready in here that I can just open. So, I mean, the report book meanings, there's multiple report that we can attach together. So it's easier when we print out, so we can provide the whole booklet. So, I can also download that to Excel as well. Okay, so when I open this report, it also provide the table of content in here for different, if I want to look at the summary. Okay, this is the P&L summary. We can look into the room, F&B as well. So we can, put different reports with these, sometimes they might be, sharing the templates that I can just, print out by different departments. If they are sharing different GL account, then it can be a separate report as well. But then we can put it all together, and then you can print it out at once with, perfect, formatting in here. Okay, the last thing I want to touch on is how flexible NSPB is on reporting on Excel. So if I come into here, like opening a report in here, I want to analyze the details, right? So let's say I want to analyze that. Now this became a live pivot table that links to your system. Okay, so for example, if I want to focus in here, and then I want to, for example, I want to what else should I add? Okay, let me put a year total in here. Okay, year total, and then I'm going to remove the period from the top, and I can refresh, and then I can just double click, and then this is a live table in here. Okay, so at the top again, you can remove the things that you don't need, and then let's say that I want to move back to the column in here. Okay, I can just year total. Okay, and then let me copy everything in here. Okay, and then I can just refresh, and then it's going to refresh that. If I double click, it's going to expand, January to December, for actual, for budget, and then for budget. And then if I if I drill down, it's going to drill down to the next level. If I keep only, it's going to keep only. I can remove the duplicated one. It'll be easy to see. And I can just double click into, into further details. Okay, so user can use SmartView to build their reports really quickly. Okay, so this concludes my demonstration for the hospitality industry. Thank you so much for watching.